Oh, yeah. I believe one day, yeah. I believe in the future. I believe in the past. I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass. All you need is a focus and a story to hold, and the faith that you can achieve what's inside your soul. Someday we'll make it on by.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, I'm loving this. Our series of sessions are good.
Oh, thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much.
You.
And a very interesting topic. So I want to read it out. I don't want to miss anything from it. So I want to read it out and just really get your perspective on what this means for you. So it's about personal power, and it starts with 100% responsibility and knowing oneself and our relationship with the cosmos. Explain to me what that means for you.
Knowing, getting to know yourself is the greatest love of all. Getting to know yourself on a real intimate level, knowing how you really function. We said this before, 2% of the world population think, 3% think they think, and 95% of the world population are just mentally active or just got a long to-do list. But taking time out in quietude and solitude and finding that quiet place of reverence so you can check yourself, just check yourself, your thought processes and your emotions and where you are with your life, where do you want to go, becoming your own therapist, philosopher, even being a psychiatrist for yourself, just understanding there's just so much to you. You are a luminous being of light. That takes a huge, humongous shift of knowledge. I mean, you just got to comprehend that. And that really is beyond words. And this luminous being is connected to the stars. Some teachers say we're like stardust. And we come in with alignment with sacred laws like law of oneness, law of cause and effect, law of attraction, law of mentalism, law of gender. There's all these laws. So we're talking about a lifetime of learning ourselves, how the universe works, and how we get on that road of personal growth, personal evolution, and personal development. And this is how we take our power back. This is how we take our power back, is understanding ourselves on a deep DNA level, a deep cellular level, and a deep psychic level, and a spiritual level as well.
You said about
love at the high side.
You said about taking responsibility. So does that gave the feel that a lot of us don't take responsibility for our life?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
why do you think
we're in the blame game. A lot of us are blaming this person, blaming that situation, and just blaming and blaming and blaming, and subsequently we're self-sabotaging ourselves. And because we're blaming, we're going to procrastinate, we're going to just implode. We've got to find a way of taking our power back. We've got to go internal instead of external. The internal power is within you, because you can bend reality with your consciousness and by the way you feel. But if you could draw a triangle, this is a game of life on a triangle. So on one side here's your thought, the other side here's your emotion, and the bottom here's your action. That is reality. And then that's all then complemented by the sacred laws. And this is the game of life. And if we start to practice certain rituals and certain mindfulness techniques, we start to balance our emotions so we're not erratic in our emotion, because that what's the saying? It says, imagination creates. What you think you become and what you feel you attract.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very. So where does nature, nurture sit within all that? Your environment sit within all that?
yeah, I mean, I get my friends and clients to look at the idea of building your own personal sanctuary. It's important to have your own personal space for you to start literally having a word with yourself. Getting a pen and paper, keeping a journal, and documenting your life and how you are ascending, because we are now looking at ascension now. This is very important. A lot of us don't realize there is a process taking place within us and around us. And if things are changing, it's imperative that we change. It's imperative that we do. We cannot stay stuck. We cannot get stay stuck, or we will be stuck.
But can our environment, our upbringing, negatively affect how
Yeah,
do that?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. If you think about it, Sophia, that when you start to study the game of life, you start to realize that a lot of us are governed by the left brain. The two brain hemisphere were very left brain dominant. And because of this left brain dominancy, linear, everything's got to add up, it's got to be straight, it's got to be logical. All these aspects of the left brain dominancy takes over. And it doesn't leave room for the creativity and imagination, the right side of the brain, and spontaneity of doing something different and outside the box, because it's always this way, until we come unstuck. And that's what will happen to most people if they don't start to say, well, look, I need to shift from this sameness into more evolution of myself. Because when we learn something new, we're growing. We're literally growing. The brain cells are growing when we're learning something new about ourselves and how the universe works.
So it sounds
This
like,
is the most
in essence, we've been trained to think a certain way. We've been trained that this is right, science is right, this is how things have to be done. And for some people, you're saying it takes a crisis for them to turn around and to question that and to think outside
yes.
the box. But by looking at that right side, that creativity side, then you can expand to unlimited expansion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Like, example, here's a good exercise. I think we mentioned this before, but here's how powerful we are. Someone said, well, I've got lots of issues with, let's say, let's pick a problem, money. Let's say a money thing going on again. Let's say, put that money, all right, my problem is money, that this individual says, Swansea. Let's call him Swansea. Swansea goes in and says, I got difficulty with money. All right, Swansea, what are you going to do then? Well, I don't know. Well, say, Swansea, the most powerful thing you have is a brain. Do you use it? Well, no one's told me how to use my brain. Well, we can do what we call creative thinking. All right, put your problem, the money, in the middle on a piece of paper, and I want you to think 9 creative ways how you can earn more money. 9 creative ways how you can earn more money. And this is you getting to understand your capabilities. And then we're not taught this. There's a lot of things we said before we're not taught at school. And this is why it's important that we start to really understand how we work on a subconscious level, on a conscious level, and also a super conscious level. And that's what makes us powerful. And when you watch films, you say, well, it's only a film, but films like Lucy, we mentioned before, a lot of human using less than 10% of the brain power. So if you're using, watch this, look at this, and we add it up nicely. If you're using less than 10% of your brain power and you're very left brain dominant, you're sitting on your hands, aren't you? Your legs are crossed and you're sitting on your hands and you're going through life thinking it's doing the same thing over and over, and you think life's going to change it. But how can it change if you're not going to understand there is what we call higher knowledge? And that's how we find our personal power, is ascending to higher knowledge, breaking free from what we've been shown and say, there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. And the people that run the world, they know this. They know this, they know this, they know this. And their job, if we keep people in fear, think about it, the spectrum of emotion is vast. From fear, the lowest, discontentment, worried, despondency, and all of that lower pessimism of life. And over here is optimism, joy, and knowledge, and just that sort of what I call the dolphin effect of life. Now, who do you think is going to be creating more in a world which is going all over the place? Still, who's going to create more? Of this person over here is like I'm very optimistic. I'm very creative. I'm thinking outside the box. I understand about ingenuity. I understand about spontaneity. This is not taught to us. And people need to know this to take back their power. Just to take back power. Let's say you are working on yourself. Look what will happen to you. You're taking time out to do your sacred prayers and your meditation and your breath work. And all of a sudden you're keeping a journal. And all of a sudden you're going about your day. And all of a sudden you get a spontaneous ideas. And that came out of the ether because you were in the zone. How beautiful is that? But if you're so left brain dominant, I've got this to do today, that to do, that to do, you ain't going to think like this. You're not gonna have that what we call the Tai Chi subtleness, Qigong to life. That ease flow, but yet powerful. As Bruce Lee said, be like water. We need to be like that water to flow with life and be flexible with life and know that. Watch this now. How do we know? Let's put it this way. You'll know when the universe is working for you, or the God, or infinite intelligence working for you. Like, take for example, you're doing all your sacred work here, and you're putting out the intention that you would like to increase your business on another level, and you set your day out now you're driving somewhere to function, and all of a sudden you have a puncher. Now look at this perception. Now perception could be the left brain. Left brain says, I've got a puncher and I'm going to be late for that function. Big problem. How am I going to get there? That's the left brain. Now, the person who's on the higher evolution will say, okay, I know I'm going to get to that function, but there's a reason for this. There might be a reason, because through adversity, there's a seed of opportunity. Somebody comes across and say, oh, I see you got a puncher there. Well, look, I tell you what, if you need my help, give me a call. This person does marketing. That person been looking for someone that does marketing. Oh, look, I've been looking for maybe we can talk. So when you're doing the work and you understand the level of the playing field, the universe will work for you, but not the way you work. Come on, this is fantastic. When I heard this, I went, really? You mean through adversity? Yes, it can even be working for you. How beautiful. And this is where you take back your power. Taking back the power, no matter how bleak it gets out there, just know that you are a crystalline, luminous being. If you watch Star Wars, I like the analogy of when you are working on yourself, being like a Jedi. Or if you watch Star Wars, every time a Jedi enters a room, everyone goes, "Oh, it's a Jedi!" They're all in fear and worry because this person has worked on a higher level of consciousness. And this makes so much sense in the world that is going out all over the place at the moment. So find that inner serenity, find that equilibrium, find that homeostasis, and find that equanimity of just knowing who you are. And then you can make that difference in the world.
I love the idea of being open to all the experiences that are coming your way and realize that the world is for you and not against you. And then if you have that mindset, then you'll see things differently, because you're thinking, well, there might be a lesson for me. There's a reason for things. I can grow from each experiences, even negative experience. But I also hear that, appreciate that people, especially right now in this world, there's a lot of oppression going around, and that oppression, whether it's in your life, you're experiencing it in war-torn countries, for example, or whether you're observing it via social media, via just knowing that information, that can bring down to those base levels of fear. It can bring it down where people are worried about the future, worried about the future of their children, their grandchildren, life in general, society in general. It can bring that people down. So you're feeling more defensive and more protective, as opposed to understanding that everything's for a reason. So what can people do to kind of not allow that depression, those lower base energies to affect them, especially in the world where we're exposed to so much negativity now.
Yes, nicely put, Sophia. You know, get away from self-basement. Get away, feel sorry for yourself. This is the way we take back the power. Get away from worry and anxiety, the low frequency, even though it's there oppressing us all over from every quarters. Just realize that we incarnated here. We are a lot more than we've been told. When somebody, one of the things that I've just come into this realization from sacred teaching now, we should study death. All of us should. No, think about it. Who's ever told you that? No one's ever told me study death. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But when I start to read about it and start, this makes sense. This start making sense because we're all going to die. And there's some cultures around the world, they actually celebrate death, and some cultures actually study death. And what I've learned in sacred texts is that we should study our own mortality. So we don't fear it. We don't fear that part of life. So once we've got that sorted out and we realize, hold up a minute, there's a game here. There's a game going on here. And I'm looking at life from a very small spectrum. We talked about we talked about the light spectrum. We talked about 0.5% of the spectrum. And we're over here, it's vast. So if I'm looking at a vaster level, then I'm playing with the game of life. The life is working for me. I'm looking at now, again, words that we keep using, but they'll come up all again, aligning with myself, with my higher self, aligning myself to open up my consciousness, aligning myself to follow sacred knowledge, and start my own self-evolution, listen to my intuition, be guided from within, and then knowing that we can change our reality because everything's energy. And that's the basis of it, is knowing that everything is energy. That people's a bit dismissive of this. I said, you need to look at the work of Dr. Emoto. Look at Dr. Emoto's work when he talks about hidden messages in water. When your consciousness is looking at water, you change a crystalline in the water. The crystals are changing. If you look at gold and you put your transmission of your brain on there, you change the gold. But even though it's physical, this is the depth of reality we need to go to now. We need to go deeper and deeper. The more problem there is, I said to people, you go deep. You go deep. Watch this now. And because people are imploding because they're living from the outside in, they're going to have what we call a spiritual crisis. That's go and Google it. Just put, what is a spiritual crisis? They're not connected to the superpower. Get connected upstairs. God, creator, infinite intelligence, call it what you want. Every culture around the planet has said there's something bigger than us, and we're connected from the heart chakra up there. Get there first, and that will almost be like a beacon. There's a film I'm using in my book. It's called Enders. It's called Enders. I'll send it to Sophia. It's called Enders, the last fight scene, and it shows, commander then gets his team together, and in the end they shine a beam of light to all the craziness that's going on. So we're looking for that luminous Christ consciousness in these times, because that's what's going to help us to find the light switch in the dark.
Yeah. And actually, I think that people are becoming a little bit more aware, and I've seen lots of different experiments looking at gratitude, where they've prayed over rice, boiled rice, and put it in different jars. And if you've said pleasant things, it's been preserved a lot longer. And if you said horrible, wicked things, it decays a lot quicker. And of course, with water, the crystals are more uniform and beautiful if you're sharing love to water. And we are big bags of water. Do you know what I mean? So it just shows that how we talk to our internal dialogue, how we talk to ourselves, and how we talk to each other has a big bearing on how we feel. And so I suppose by mastering that, by understanding that, we could be more gentle to ourselves and more gentle to others, because we're producing the change, a physical change in our bodies, in our minds.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we're talking here now is self-love. The greatest love of all is self-love. if we can cultivate the self-love, it doesn't matter what they're doing. If we cultivate the self-love within ourselves and start doing things that actually elevate us from the inside out, everything changes. There's no fear. There's no worry. There's only optimism. There is hope. There's answers. There's solution to everything when you cultivate self-love. So do things that make you feel in love with yourself. Because when you're doing things that you're doing things that make you feel lovely with yourself, what happens to you? You're changing the DNA vibration. That is a common denominator here to everything. Come on, Mikey. Let's say it again. The common denominator for someone to change their life and take back the power is to understand DNA vibration. Do some research on that. DNA vibration. That's what those who run the planet do not want you to know. The power of your brain, the power of consciousness, your emotion, and DNA vibration. If you do not understand, you are going to be stuck for the rest of your life. So just do your own research on this. And then when you start to realize, wow, it is like that, then I can take back my life. Yes. As I said to one friend, your brain is the ATM. You want to make money? Well, look at prosperity consciousness over here and poverty conscious over here. Who's going to make some money in these times? You know what I mean? You say, whoa, I didn't know that. Because life is a study. Life is a study. You have to study life. There's a great book you can get and look at. It's called The Game of Life by Florence Scovel Shinn. I think that book was around in 1925. You know, and there's other books like that. You know, or you can watch the documentary. What the blip do we know? What the blip do we know about life? And then you see, wow, it's about consciousness, yeah. And then there's other teachers teaching this knowledge I'm sharing at the moment, and I'm very passionate about it because it saved my life. It's this knowledge saved my life, Sophia. I was never like this. I've been through what they call the dark night of my own soul. I've cried so many times because life beat me up. I didn't know whether to turn right, turn left, you know, where money was coming from, hanging around, trying to get 3 jobs at one time. I was lost in the matrix of life because of my left brain and sitting on my hand and looking at life like this, you know what I mean? And then when I realized the shackles were broken and I opened my heart chakra and I opened my third eye and I realized, whoa, what a wonder, what a mystery. This is beautiful. Now life is getting better and better and better. I've got so much good news in my life, it's unbelievable. And it's just based on understanding this knowledge. And I just love sharing it. I just want people to get a little bit, just because once they say, once a mind, once expand a little bit, it never can reach the same dimension again. Oh, it can never go back. Oh, you know too much. You know too much. You know too much. You know about the right brain. Once it goes, oh, God is right, the right brain. How powerful it is. And it gives off frequency. Ooh. And you start studying what they don't want you to know. And you say, well, game on. And you reduce the negativity. For me, I have, oh, the naughty, naughty, naughty. It's okay. I'll get to work. You know, you just acknowledge it, but you don't take that in. You just get to work on what you need to do.
So what it sounds like, it's about, from you exploring and questioning the reality, learning about yourself, exploring, then you realize that the things that used to cause you to be fearful and to give you doubt, then you can remove the power of that. And by reframing it, by saying, oh, that's a minor thing, like you kind of belittle the negativity, or by educating yourself to grow that you are in control. And that responsibility is about having responsibility about your knowledge base and your understanding of life, and the role that your energy plays in that life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I think the operative word you said there, Sophia, I could use it over and over again, is reframing. You've got to reframe, reevaluate, and check in and say, well, hold up a minute. Is this serving me or isn't it not? And if it's not serving you, leave it. Glance at reality, but create reality. Look at that. That's a nice way. Glance at it. Ooh, that's interesting. But leave it at that. Don't delve into it. Leave it, because you know that's going to make you more gullible, to be more fear. You become more malleable when you're fearful, when you lack courage, when you're pessimistic and you're very left brain and you're looking at life like this. You become malleable. people can manipulate you, can use you, and you get confused and you get befuddled and all of that. And then look at your posture. But when you start to let go of that and say, I want my power back, and there's a golden rule in mentorship, you take 100% responsibility of your life. Exclamation mark. Bam! That's the first golden rule if you want your life to change. And if you start, oh, well, the world's doing this. No, we didn't say that. We said, take back your power. Know who you are and know who you're connected to and know the sacred laws. Get with that and watch how it starts to obliterate that. And in some cases, that will work for you. Look at that. The people will be able to see your light in the darkness and say, you're doing something special here. And that's what you're doing, Sophia.
So thank you. But I suppose what's very true and what we need to think about is that you're right. I think people are using that fear to control people and to stop them from thinking outside that box. And you're right, by taking the responsibility and educating yourself, informing yourself, then you're able to break through that matrix. As you said, you're able to break through and say, well, hang on a second, why should I fear? For example, you talked about fearing death. You're thinking, well, why are you fearful of death? You haven't died before. You don't know what it's going to be like. Maybe you were fearful when you were about to be born and you felt nice and safe and comfortable in your mother's womb. You know what I mean? It was all good here, a little bit cramped, but it was all good. It was a safe environment, a place that you knew, you got nourishment, you got flying. But then when you came into the life, there was something so much bigger, so much better. And so maybe death could be like that. We just don't know. But this society has instilled fear in us. And that fear of death has been used to control society. You know what I mean? Control on the individual level, on the grand level.
Absolutely. I mean, look at this, Sophia. In my just review of reality, there's more and more people seeing therapists than ever before. And even now, the therapists are getting stressed. I've got in my academy, I've got one of the top psychologists working in my head. He's stressed, the poor fella, because of people are just letting life do them. They're not working. Is it like they're not? They're trying to get through life. They're not trying to get from life. They're trying to get through. Oh, got through the day. What are you getting from the day? What are you learning? How are you expanding in your life? How can you make yourself better? What can I learn new about, how this world works? And when we get to understand that, our life changes dramatically. Not even a little bit, it's dramatically. And when you take time out for the sacred, it is the sacred. When you understand the power, look at this now, the power of silence, which we said before, when you realize, so when everyone said, well, I'm celebrating, that was me as a young man before. Yeah, I'm celebrating, but I'm not looking for that anymore. Give me a monastery, give me a convent, give me a place of silence. And that will be my celebration now. Because knowing thyself is the way you change your own life. You make your difference in your family, you help your community, and you help humanity. That's the only way forward. Go in to go out. Not out in, go in first and then come out and come that shining light as if I know who I am now. That crystalline cell, that luminous being of saying, I know who I am. I know my place in this universe. I'm deeply grateful and very blessed.
Yes, definitely. I mean, very, very, very strong. And I suppose, yes, we are exposed to a lot more stresses in life now than before. That is true. But what you're really saying is like start making those steps in order to reduce those stresses. For example, turning off the TV, don't watch the dramas or the soaps. So no, there's a lot of things that we can do. Make time to meditate and go on.
Just saying that, Sophia, watch this now. Something come to mind of one of my clients. And she shared something with me the other day about how not understand. We need to talk about subconscious mind another time. But she'd been reading horror movie books from something Childs. Do you know? Is it Lee Childs? One of them books, something Patterson. She'd been reading these books for over 20 odd years. And now she goes to bed with nightmares of these books. So if we do now, here's a plus on this. If you're taking time out to do what we call the great work, this is classed as the great working on yourself, doing the great work, reading the spiritual books, working on your subconscious mind, expanding your vision, having a compelling vision, having a purpose, and all these wonderful things that you're doing, it starts to affect you on many ways. And subsequently, you are going to make a success of your life. All the great teachers out there in this environment are doing what we're talking about. All the teachers, they're doing exactly what we're talking about. They're not fear mongering. They're not talking about the nonsense. They know it's there, but they've chose this path of personal evolution. And I think that's how we can help our community. Find your own power first. That's what you bring to the table. And then when you get a group of people who've got their own power, now look how we take back our community. Isn't that part beautiful?
Yes, excellent,
Beautiful.
excellent. And I suppose it's about habits as well, isn't it? It's what you're saying. If you've
Yeah.
got this habit of surrounding yourself with negativity, don't be surprised that now your life is very negative. So if you're surrounding yourself with horror books and reading before night, don't be surprised that your body says, "Oh, this is what you want," and I'm going to bring that into your imagination, into your unconsciousness. Whereas if
Yes.
you in the same way, the reverse, if you now move away from the horror books and surround yourself with positive, uplifting books, your body's going to say, "Oh, this is what you want, and this is the new habit that you're creating," isn't it? So it's like
Yes.
creating those habits of wealth, creating those habits of wellness, creating those habits
Yes.
of peace.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. The habits are form over repetition, repetition, and discipline. So having that self-discipline, these words I like to use. When you work on the great work, we call it the self-concept, self-regulate, self-mastery, going into self-awareness. And you go into self-image and self-esteem and self-honor. All these selves are kicking in when you start get into the habit of what you need to do. Let's give the any viewer watching in here, what can I do, Mikey, to get back my power? One of my favorite things to do is to keep a journal. Just keep a journal. I can't stress enough the power of keeping a journal. Keep a journal of your life. Have a relationship with yourself. Learn the art of what they call self-reflection. Learn the art of working on a vision. Learn the art of gratitude. Learn the art of putting down what you want. Put it down. Excuse me. Think of the universe like going to a shop and say, right, universe, I'd like this. Yeah. The universe is going to say yes. You don't have the problem with you because you got left brain on here. Left brain, left brain, left brain. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like the way the universe doesn't work like you work. You can tell it what you want. The universe said, I hear you. And you water that with gratitude and love. And let's say, give an example. I would like to earn 30 grand a month. And you wrote that down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times before you go to bed. All right, you did that, yeah? And you watered it, and you said thank you, and you blessed it, and you watered it, and you said thank you, and watered it. What will happen is, through the law of attraction, situations, circumstances, events, and people come into your life to make that happen for you. Wow, I didn't have to break my back and work till I was 65. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the left brain. That's the left brain. Left brain programming over here, and over here, we got something else going on. So it's got 2 ends of the spectrum. Which one do you gravitate to right now if you want to save your family? Do you work your ass off doing 3 jobs and trying to fuddle out how am I going to pay for this and that? Or you say, like, let me go into my creative zone and start creating, yeah, and add value, give value.
I
Beautiful.
that the universe only says yes, and so we have to be careful what we ask for because it says yes to everything.
Yes.
So if we say yes, I want to be rich, and you've said that for your 5 minutes of prayer, or your 5 minutes of journaling, you've got to make sure that you're consistent. So I like you saying that you water and nurture it with love and gratitude, because some people might make a request, but then afterwards deny themselves the request by saying it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Or like what you've said, they're trying to find their own way through. But sometimes they need to allow the universe to guide them and to see those opportunities so that they can find, reach those goals, but to be accepting that it can happen, it will happen, and I'm grateful that it has happened, kind of.
Bravo. And I think the key also is not I want to be, I am. That's the operative words. These are I am success. And knowing that you are in the present right now, I am success, and to feel it. This is what we're talking about, quantum physics, you know. I am successful.
Changing your feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you feel this already. What would it be like to be a millionaire? What would it feel like? What would it feel like to find the best level? What would it feel like to be healthy? You know, look at me. I started as a health consultant over the years. I would now say to my client, you know, who's got a health issue, what would it feel like to be healthy? And they go, oh, but I'm so riddled with pain. I said, that's your work. You need to feel and work with the universe, because when you read the book, one of my most amazing books is called Radical Remission by Kelly Turner, one of my favorite books. And she talks about people who've been gone for their diagnosis, gone through all the their screening and all their tests, and they've done the chemo, radiation, and drug, and they've been given like 3 months to live. They've been given 3 months to live. Then they turn around and found somebody like Kelly, and Kelly gives them like a protocol of 9 things to do. And one of the main things is spiritual. You know, like I've said from the start, if you want your life to change, connect on a higher level. When they connected, this person had 3 months to live. You know, 10 years later, this person's still alive. That's the difference. And that's called radical remission. And we could do radical remission in our own life. Yeah, we can do radical remission of anything that is negative, that's not working in our life, by reevaluating and saying, look, time for big change here. Don't wait for New Year. Let's do it right here, right now. The power of now.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So if somebody wants to get hold of you, Mike, what can they do? How can they find you?
Okay, so through yourself, Sophia, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much. The Wellness Academy Global, we're based in Cyprus, but you can catch me online through the website, the Wellness Academy Global website. Yeah, that's very nice.
Thank you again. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you for sharing with us, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, we'll dance again, baby, and do what we do best. Appreciate you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Namaste.
If at the end of a hard and stressful day, you are searching for a quick and easy way to relieve tension, stress and anxiety, Morgan-Genus Magnesium Range could be the answer for you. Find out more about our mineral of relaxation. Relieve your tension, replenish, restore and rejuvenate with Morgan-Genus Magnesium Range. Available at morgangenus.com.
I believe one day, I believe in the future. I believe in the past. I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass. All you need is a focus and a story to hold, and the faith that you can achieve what's inside your soul.